Hello, everybody, to another news cycle here. I'm Jesse Dominguez, candidate for Ward 4 here in Fredericksburg, here with my campaign manager, Giovanni. And we're here to read the news, just like we are twice a week. So, to start off with, of course, we want to handle the big, important stuff first. And yesterday, there was a planning commission meeting, but there was also a school board meeting. And I went to the planning commission one. But honestly, I should have gone to the school board one because this one seems a little bit more important. Anyway, we discovered it's not getting better. City schools are trying to get a handle on transportation system situation. So a teacher that I know very well actually texted me the other day saying, "Man, these buses are really messing up."
Oh, really?
And I mean, and I told somebody else this today that they added on a whole new school without adding on any more buses, as far as I know.
Oh, wow, that's
So how are you going to handle the, pick up and drop off of another school when you don't have any more buses? But we'll see what they had to say.
If anything, that means students will get to school later. So the only thing that could be logical would they have to move the time of the school a little bit? Because if you don't have any more buses, you can only use the ones that are already driving for the other schools.
Yeah, and drop off too. Parents are upset that kids are, either being picked up late or being dropped off late.
That's the only. Yeah.
School day schedule changes and an opt-in system are both being considered as ways to improve transportation with Fredericksburg School Division, staff said on Tuesday. School board called a special meeting into 6 days into the 2025-2026 school year to hear from parents and staff about the transportation system, which is failing, in the words of one parent. As the disastrous start to the school year's transportation services, a family member remarked that the district would certainly send out a statement the next day. Rather than that, we received desperate pleas of more bus staff, with not a word of acknowledging that the transportation system was failing. Instead, the superintendent, Marcy Catlett's sincere apology for the stress and frustration might have caused came a full week after the issues became apparent. One parent said at the time that her daughter, a first grader, endured being forgotten by her bus driver, betrayed by a different bus driver who told the children, berated by a different bus driver who told the children, "If you keep crying, you'll never go home," and on the good days, exceptionally long rides.
Like many parents, Lamanako said she started picking up her daughter from school rather than having her ride the bus, which would not have dropped her off until 5:30 p.m. on Tuesday, despite the new My Ride K through 12 bus app showing that she had been returned an hour before that.
Yeah, they'd also started a new app this year, which just.
I think I heard that with I think it's the one, the Fairfax system. They have like a little key card that when they get on the bus, I think they scan it on there. It's supposed to be able to track your student.
Yeah, right. Wow.
Khaled acknowledged that we know we're in a desperate state. This community has benefited from maybe an older way of accommodating transportation for our families that was working, and we want to get back to that. She said the goal is to benefit from the technical piece to be efficient and streamlined, but still keep the human touch. That's what we're diligently and desperately trying to get to.
And the school is saying the issue is there's not enough bus drivers, which I know they've been trying to hire bus drivers for years and years and years now. And a lot of these bus drivers are still driving from when we went to school there.
No way.
Yeah, the lady with the really long hair, she's still there. The older black gentleman, he's still there. Like, people that have been driving the buses since we've been in school, we've been out of school for almost 10 years now.
2016.
2016, 2017, almost 10 years. They still have the same bus drivers there.
But what's interesting to me, and I just know this because there was a time where, at least where I work, up north, they were talking about like the school that was going to be built in Winchester, and I guess the school board up there has been trying to buy a new area that was going to be that was an old church, and they were going to try to remodel that into a new school, and the town was like, hold on. I know we have it's because they have a large population, but they're like, but we don't have the necessary resources. Even if we built a school, they kind of said that they kind of ran into a very similar issue.
Mm-hmm.
How are we going to support, once we build a new school? Do we have the staff for that? Do we have all that?
Yeah.
They had to think about that. So here I kind of asked myself, I'm curious if they went into it kind of knowing they were understaffed. And if that was the case, because you've said they've been struggling for years, it's kind of like, why build a school if you know you might not have the staff to, be able to drive and bus students? And if so, were the parents told that ahead of time? Hey, we're going to have to change their bus route.
No, obviously the parents weren't told that beforehand, because the remark up there from one of the parents said we were hoping at least on the first day they would say, hey, things are messed up. And right here you can see on Wednesday, Thursday, there was a team of administrators trying to work with transportation all day long. We were hoping it would get better. On Friday we discovered it's not getting better, and now they've met every single day trying to fix it. It's you can't meet to fix it. You have to hire people to fix it. And the only way to hire people is to offer better benefits. And everybody in town knows that our school system pays dramatically less than every other county around us. That's why a lot of teachers left last year after the shit show that was Fredericksburg City Public Schools last year and the year beforehand.
I heard that a lot of people went to like Stafford, Mountain View, and all these other ones down there, Colonial Forge.
I mean, it can be a difference of up to $5,000 to $10,000 more anywhere else other than Fredericksburg.
I know somebody who left our job just to be a teacher over there too, and I don't think they're even doing music, and that's what they were doing at my job. So it's interesting.
Yeah, no, I mean, as we've been sitting down to do these news articles, what's the one thing in Fredericksburg that keeps on coming up as having problems? It's the schools and the school board.
And I think one thing is that it doesn't really look good when, as they were trying to open the school, they were so proud of it, they're so happy with it, and it's just like...
Yeah. The facade behind it.
I think this is the one thing that looks really bad. It's like the communication to who matters the most, the parents and the students.
Yeah.
And I think that's where this is the biggest letdown. The whole like, oh, we let students have a voice about the floors. Kids don't
give a fuck about the floors, Fredericksburg. And I don't know if I said this in a previous video or not, but they did not let kindergarten teachers into Gladys West Elementary School until the weekend before school was about to start.
Yeah.
Because they were still under construction. I mean, like, the amount of boxes that these kindergarten teachers have, it's not like high school where, all you have is books and pencils. They have toys and games and all this learning equipment and all these other, fun little things that kids need to be engaged. Boxes and boxes and boxes. And they had 3 days to do it. I knew a teacher that was there until 3 a.m. for multiple days.
And I can completely understand, if there's construction issues, but all of that is logistical. All of that needs to be prepared ahead of time. That's the pressure you put on the construction company to get stuff right, and that's why you make these decisions, again, ahead of time.
Yeah.
And for me, I think even once the school was ready to be open, at least for school, I think something as important as communicating with the parents, what time will my kid be home? Because they're thinking about the kid's safety.
Yeah.
They're not really thinking about necessarily logistical issues. They're like, I want my kid home.
Yeah. They don't care if you don't have enough bus drivers. They want their kids home safe, and they want to know when their kid's getting home, not at 5:30 p.m. So it's not clear whether any planning for the new routes is required by the opening of 2 new schools began while the previous routing coordinator was still in the job. Look at this. It wasn't clear whether the planning for new routes required by opening of 2 schools began previous to the routing coordinator was still in the job. So they didn't even know somebody new came on, and they're like, was this being planned before? I mean, how long do you have to know you're going to build a new school and prep for that school before it even breaks ground? I mean, they must have been planning this for years before they even showed it to the public as an idea. And yet this is what happens. Director of Operations told the board that some actions being proposed to fix this situation included tweaking school hours and moving to an opt-in system, which would require only to route students whose parents ask for bus transportation. Though some board members said they have concerns about parents potentially missing communication about the need to opt in,
Yes.
transportation supervisor, who was hired in July, said that he will stabilize the situation.
So that's what I was gonna say. I was like, when you do something as an opt-in, the reason it's in quotations, it's like, in other words, I have to choose to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And if the parents didn't know that they needed to choose to do this, I mean, how many parents? I would just say, working 2 jobs, busy with other stuff. You may have a sick relative or something. They may not have gotten the immediate news that I need to opt in, and you can't say, oh, then you obviously didn't care about your kid enough to find out. It's just like, I don't know what you guys are doing new. Usually, you generally have a bus route in a neighborhood, and you just kind of like, oh, you look into the bus route at the start of the new school year and the orientation day and all these things. But if you're not told you need to opt in, I think that's a very important thing as well. And especially for them to be like, oh, I'll stabilize the situation. I mean, that's just a quote. Like,
anybody can say that. I'm going to save the world. You know, that doesn't mean I'm actually able to do it. Look at this. 3 bus drivers left the first week of school, and another submitted a resignation on Tuesday.
Yeah, they didn't want any.
They were trying to fill 7 vacancies of Tuesday afternoon.
They're probably going to have a mass exodus, and if that happens...
Oh, yeah. I feel like families would prefer to be kept updated. Yeah. No shit. But, great. Thanks, school system. In better school news, Coach Serbay returns to coach at James Monroe High School after a 5-year absence. So he left when our class graduated then.
Yeah, he left around the years that I think I was gone probably a year or 2. So actually, yeah, probably during your year.
Well, no, I just said it's been almost 10 years. So after in 2020 he left.
So that's after 5-year absence. Oh wow. Okay.
In 2020 he left. The Virginia High School League Hall of Fame coach is proving.
My sister was in school.
Okay,
she
there you go.
She graduated in 2022. Okay, she graduated during.
That you can really go home again. Rich Serbay is returning to the sidelines at James Monroe High School as a volunteer assistant coach for the Yellow Jackets football team. This move comes after 5 years after he was fired for his position after being JM's coach following 35 seasons at the helm.
I thought he left.
He served a similar role at Stafford High School over the last 3 years. Coghill said he and Serbay stayed in touch to talk about a potential return. That was a regular part of the dialogue. So we played Stafford every year. I get to see Serbay there, and we'd see each other at 7-on-7 tournaments during the off season. I knew he wanted to come back, and I wanted him back. We also wanted to coach together, so I felt like it was the right time to do it. Coghill, he was in my grade.
That's Trey Kyle?
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, Trey Coghill, yep.
I didn't know he was the coach.
Yep, that's right. Yep, he's one of the gym teachers there.
He used to be in my grade.
Oh, well, we're around the same.
No, it's growing up. He was in one of my classes.
Yeah. Having Serbay come back and be a part of the program was something I felt that we needed. Coach Griffin said he's given half of his life to JM football in the city of Fredericksburg, so it was only right for him to come back.
He was there when my brother was there. My brother graduated in 2010.
Wow.
And my brother was a kicker for the football team for, I think, like a season.
He was there for a long, long time. I'm thrilled to be back, and this will be the last stop in my career, Serbay said. 75 years old.
Hey, there's a lot of pictures with Serbay up on that Hall of Fame.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
Into the locker rooms.
Yes, there is.
George is an outstanding young coach, and he's been good to me as a player, assistant coach, and a friend. The current players on James Monroe roster had little to no knowledge about Serbay before he arrived during preseason workouts, but the legendary coach quickly earned their respect. That's what I was gonna say. I told you that at some point.
Yeah, that's what you said.
I said that they're not gonna know anything, but they're quickly gonna know of the legend behind them.
Yep, they're quickly gonna fall into line. He's battled various health issues, undergoing multiple knee replacements and back surgery. He's currently dealing with muscular deterioration in his right eye.
Oh, degeneration. Aww.
I'm working very hard to get better, he said, but you never know how long this train is going to run, so we'll see where it goes, and I'll do everything I can to help the program to make George an even better coach. Regardless of any future uncertainty, Coghill is just happy to have Serbay come home. He belongs in orange and black. It's the only right way to end his career.
I like that. So he's also going to be there to kind of mentor George a little bit.
Yeah. So that's awesome. Glad to have him back. So we did talk about this a little bit last time. We went back and forth on kind of, our thoughts on it, and we're not going to go through and read the entire article.
Just a quick skim, because you were at the meeting when they
I was at the meeting when they talked about it. Excuse me. And I didn't see the very end whether they approved to recommend an approval to City Council.
So they could have tabled that even.
They could have, but as soon as I left, it seems like they voted, because when I left out of the bathroom at City Hall, people were leaving the. I just really needed to go. I couldn't sit there anymore.
Had to go potty.
And they mentioned things like the parking lot is going to change shape, that there's going to be more green space on either side, and that there's going to be parking on Germania Street and on Elm Street, but no parking on Fall Hill Avenue. There's going to be like 3 spots over here, 5 spots over here, and then like 27 spots in here. I don't know if that math adds up, but they said there should be 33 parking spots for the 30 apartments that are going in there. And a concern that Ann Little, who's also running for city council, she came up, this is in her ward. She said, there's enough apartments in Fredericksburg. We need condos that people can buy and own and start building equity. They said, and I'm going to, make up numbers here, but it's something along the lines of this, that Fredericksburg's ownership of homes is like 45%. And the national average is 65, and then New York City, even people in New York City own like 70% of their living spaces there, and then somewhere else also has like an 80% rate of people actually owning where they live. So Fredericksburg is way below the mark at like 45 something percent of ownership. So she said, we don't need 30 apartments that are going to cause more traffic. We need, a few condos that people can buy. And the architect came up and said, well, with the research that we've done on condos, that was something we had talked about in the beginning, but condos can only be cheap if there's other condos around. If those are the only condos in the area, they're going to sell for upwards of $1 million.
That's what I was going to say. I don't think we have other condos here that would, and if anything, I think anything like a condo would only raise the housing prices in the area, or at least for that, it would be high.
So we do have condos in Cobblestone Square, and they built 10 condos, and then they said, oh, well, let's make the rest apartments. So they changed their whole strategy and started making apartments. No, that's... this is up Lafayette, where there's like that bridge. If you're right across from Eats.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, that's Cobblestone.
Oh wow. I've never been to. I guess I've never been inside those apartments. I've seen it now.
Yeah. So there are condos there, and they are expensive condos because there's no other condos around to kind of lower the price of them.
Yeah, I think to average it down.
And because it's in the historical register, that if they are to change it into 30 apartments, there are not 30 apartments worth of windows already in the building. That there's actually very few windows already on this building, and you need a window in an apartment. So they said, what kind of plans are you going to make to, give everybody a window? And the gentleman said, yes, well, we have thought about that, but because it's a historic building, we have to match the look of the pre-existing windows, and you have to keep the vibe of it looking historic. There was also comments on, they said that a certain type of market that they might be able to hit is elderly people, elderly people that live alone, or 2 of them, because these are just 1-bedroom apartments. and they said that in the plans, there's only one handicap spot for your plans. If you're inviting elderly people to live here, you're more than likely going to have more handicapped people.
I wonder if that changes the size of the handicap spot too, which means there might be less.
Yeah, I do wonder that. And they mentioned, are they going to be able to come to you and say, hey, I need you to, make more spots handicapped, or are you going to have to assist them in petitioning the city to make the street parking handicap accessible? And the gentleman who owns the building said two different things. He said, one, the parking lot is flat and there's no curb to step up on, so it's already handicap accessible in that way. And second, that not all old people are handicapped. And he said, my mother, she's 72, and she would have something to say about you saying old people are handicapped. Which is not what they said. They just, they said with more old people, they're probably going to need more assistance getting in and out. So those were his two comments of not all old people are handicapped. And, the ground, there's no step up. So there's already, it's already fairly handicap accessible. And I believe that was everything. I wonder if it says in here that, it says will take up an application. So there hasn't, and this is on this is from the 26th. I doubt this is the same thing that we read because, I looked at, news articles that, came after Monday. Maybe we read it on Free Press.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that's kind of the update there of what was said. I wonder if they approved it or not. They did approve Mrs. B's Learning Academy.
Oh.
So that was nice.
As they should.
Yeah. And I can talk a little bit about that too, I guess. I don't remember too much information about it, but she pretty much said, I started working in my home. This is for middle class and under and lower class people. They help out a lot of autistic children. They help out a lot of children that were kicked out of other preschools. And they've been able to, make nonverbal kids verbal, and how happy parents are that their kids are, able to adapt so well, going to the school. So she started in her home, and then she has her academy now in South Point, and then she wants to convert a multi-tenant building into a single-tenant building for her second location. And that she already has people on a waiting list to go into this academy. And 7 out of 7 yeses.
A waiting list for a second location. I think that's great.
Yeah. So they
people want this.
Yeah. The only major question that one guy had was in the plans. It said that instead of tearing up asphalt, they're just going to put 4 inches of mulch on top of the asphalt. And he asked if that was allowed or something. And the way that they were talking, I tuned out on whatever the assumption was, but obviously it turned out okay. And that they needed special gates for fire and first responders to come if there were to ever be an issue, because the way that they want to gate off the property, obviously so children don't run away, is going to be in the way of the fire lane and the fire exit. So that there needs to be gates that are easy to open up for fire and first responders to get in there.
In case of a structure fire or anything.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
They can't have anything permanently bolted into the ground. It needs to be able to be moved very quickly. But yeah, she got approved, and I don't know if the house we were just looking at got approved.
And Mrs. B.
Yeah, good for Mrs. B. So this isn't necessarily within Fredericksburg, but Everybody here uses Courthouse Road for many different reasons. So we will talk a little bit about it. This work will begin after Labor Day and affect a 3.7 mile stretch of the road.
A portion of a popular roadway in the region is set for a detailed reconstruction project to begin after Labor Day using a procedure that could save money in the long run. The Virginia DOT is going to reconstruct 3.7 miles of Courthouse Road in Spotsylvania from Lawyers Road to the Lake Anna Bridge starting Monday, September 8th. The work could lead to a major traffic delay with drivers facing full stops at times, and there will be some inconvenience for businesses and residences along that route. VDOT says heavy loads over time have produced deep base failure on the roadway that needs to be fixed. Work crews will be removing 4 inches of the current asphalt, reducing it about 12 inches. An existing portion of the pavement will then be pulverized, and a portion of that material will be mixed with a stabilizing agent. Next comes a seal, several layers of new asphalt. According to VDOT, that will extend the paving cycle by 10 to 15 years instead of the usual 6 to 8, making it less expensive in the long run. The reconstruction project does mean a rough ride for about 2 months, with parts of some lanes fully closed during weekdays and extended after each day's work. The plan is to open all lanes on the weekends. During the week, the closures will begin on Monday at 7 a.m. VDOT reopening Friday at 5. VDOT says the lanes need to be fully closed at times to prevent drivers from having to navigate a rough surface with 2-inch drop in the pavement. Motorists will be able to drive on their own at the end of each shift once the seal is applied. At times, drivers will face one-way alternating traffic. So when they close down one lane, right?
Yeah.
You have to. The project will cost $3.1 million. Should be complete sometime in November, weather permitting. According to a 2023 VDOT traffic study, the stretch of Courthouse Road carries about 8,500 vehicles a day.
Wow.
The road was realigned to straighten out some sharp curves in the 1960s and was last resurfaced in 2015. VDOT advises motorists on Courthouse Road to follow the instructions on a message boards that will be placed alongside the road and watch out for flaggers giving directions or look for alternate routes.
Okay, so 2 months of construction, bar weather. And, they're going to make it last double almost of what it usually would last.
From 6 to 8 to 10 to 15.
Yeah. So, not bad. Not a bad deal at all. Time for another Biz Beat Roundup from the Free Press.
You need like buzzers at this point.
Yeah. Buzz Beat. Biz. I always say buzz. Biz Beat Roundup.
Might as well have a B at this point.
Yeah, right.
For yourself.
So the big thing that we want to talk about real quickly is Jay's Sports Lounge closing after losing its ABC license. This has been the talk of the town recently, and for good reason. The ABC revoked Jay's Sports Lounge license to sell wine, beer, and mixed beverages.
Did they ever sell wine?
I'm sure they had it.
And I'm sure they had it.
It's not officially announced whether it will close, but it hasn't been open since the decision came down last week. The revocation came following repeated violations, complaints, and disturbances, including a homicide near the business in December 2024. I remember when that happened.
Mm-hmm.
According to the ABC, case against Jay's made a ruling in April, but the decision was on appeal until last week.
So they kept trying to appeal it.
Yeah. So a pretty shady, soddy place downtown on the main William Street as well.
Like if you really wanted to get drunk, really let it out, that was the place to be at some point.
Yeah.
But it just came with too many shady characters, a lot of trouble, and
and you had to pay to get in too. Jeez Louise.
I mean, but just too much bad stuff happened. I mean, it's part of the main reason people avoided it. I mean, I guess if you had a huge crowd and a lot of friends, maybe you'd be going there. But it was just a place. Eventually, it just came with too many stories and just being there sometimes.
It was always packed. You'd walk in, you couldn't walk anywhere. All the pool tables were taken up. Everything in the bar was taken up. The dance floor was completely taken up. Like there was no room. And I wonder if fire code was a big part of that too.
I
They're
wouldn't
just
be
letting too many
surprised.
people in,
Especially if they were paying, like people were paying to get in. I mean, you could have just kept it going, and people wouldn't know.
People wouldn't know. They're just like, oh, there's a lot of people here tonight.
And I mean, there was obviously I've heard hearsay about just rumors of like younger kids being let in, specifically those who just got to college.
Yeah.
That could lead to underage drinking. There's just too many issues, too many safety measures that I guess, and obviously a nearby homicide is enough to take it down, and I can't deny that.
Yeah. So the city's probably better off without it. The fact that it's one of the few nightclubby areas in town, which people our age and 3-4 years younger than us are looking for these kind of things. You either have Spirits to go, which is a very small building, or you're at Billikens, which nobody dances at Billikens.
Mm-hmm.
So this was kind of the only place that was like it, but I'd rather go to Bravo every weekend than go to downtown Sports Lounge.
That's been any day at Caps.
Yeah, you're right about that. Capital Ale House is the best.
But I think, to me, I think you make a good point. Like, if no one's dancing at Billikens, Spirits feels a little too crowded. There's no other atmosphere for dancing, and I think this one being, like, the biggest place to actually host, I think everybody let loose here. I mean, I can see all that pent-up energy being let loose here in many different ways.
Yeah, so if you're a Jays fan...
I'm sorry.
I'm not sorry.
Guess I am.
Okay, so City of Fredericksburg champions local businesses with business support and growth program. The City of Fredericksburg is proud to champion the success of local businesses through their business support and growth program, a comprehensive initiative designed to help businesses of all sizes thrive, expand, and remain resilient. Throughout the business support and growth program, they offer a wide range of services designed to meet businesses where they are and help them thrive. Our team connects businesses, conduct business visits, and learn about your unique needs while providing resource navigation to connect you with the financial assistance, workforce development programs, permitting guidance, and other local, state, and federal services. For those planning to grow, we offer expansion assistance with site selection, zoning, incentives, and partner introductions. We also prioritize emergency and resilience planning, equipping businesses with continuity resources, and risk mitigation tools to safeguard against disruption. Finally, we boost promotion and visibility through city-led marketing, celebratory events, and digital features, ensuring your business stands out in the Fredericksburg community. And if you are a business, reach out to them. It doesn't sound like a bad deal at all.
So in other words, they're just trying to do whatever they can to help you grow. I guess they don't want any more failed businesses. I mean, I don't think I can't say there's been a lot, but I think with, for example, I think something like Jay's, could we have helped you in any other way with anything that you were struggling with?
Even Wild Hair Cidery was planning on closing down at some point, and then they ended up not closing down. They ended up making rent or whatever it was for that.
And then you have Juan More Taco.
Yep, Juan More Taco recently closed down.
What used to be Katora Coffee, now OG Grinds.
Yep.
I think stuff like that, all 3 different reasons or 4 different reasons for almost shutting down or completely shutting down. Stuff like this is just the city's what can we do? Can we connect you with anybody that we as the city actually will know? And I think that's better than just, hey, I know a guy. Yeah.
I mean, I think that the museum does a fantastic job. The Fredericksburg Area Museum does a great job of collaborating with other local places. The Port gives them their beer. They used to get wine from Curio. Back when the Italian station was here, now Anita's Cafe. During Sounds of Summer, they would have gelato stand there.
Oh, cool.
The new sandwich shop Galvin's, whose back door goes into Market Square. Them and the museum are talking about selling some sort of food at Sounds of Summer in the future.
Dude,
right, exactly.
Beer, the wine?
Yeah, the beer, the wine, the sandwiches, the French fries, Yes, it would be very good. So the museum does a fantastic job of working with local businesses here.
Let's go Stacy. Let's go fam.
Yeah, let's go fam.
What a family is that?
It is. That is really good. And being on the subcommittees for the Arts Commission, I'm also, trying to kind of put that in there of, let's collaborate with as many people downtown as possible. And the Arts Commission has restructured its entire, life this year, so it's a good time for us to be, reaching out to a lot of different places.
But I think that's a great point. Like FAM, we're putting on an event. How can we highlight necessary things while also, kind of stock up on the things we need?
Yeah.
You help us, we want to help you, and as long as we're both mutually wanting to help each other, I think that's the best way.
Yeah.
So I think I think this is a great initiative as well.
It is, yeah.
I think it's one of the this is what we want to see.
Yeah.
City and community support.
Yeah. The worst part about being the bartender at Sounds of Summer is when people ask where the beer comes from, and there's a massive table with a cloth on it that says the port. It's like,
they probably think that's just the name of the tent. Hey, come to the port.
Come to the port, yeah. Look, people, look what I know you're 3 beers deep, but look. Okay. Last time we highlighted the assistant city manager.
Yep.
And this time Evan Sullivan joins Fredericksburg's EDA, Economic Development Authority. And we read a little bit about his bio earlier, and Jill, you found a lot of things that you really liked. If you want to talk more about that.
Yeah, so it says a lot about the Economic Development Authority acts as a catalyst for responsible economic growth. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe this is somewhat in connection with what we just read, with the new program that's coming in, that improves Fredericksburg quality of life, fostering new opportunities for businesses while strengthening the community as a whole. So again, fostering new opportunities for businesses. So in other words, how can we help the businesses in the area? But it says a lot of nice stuff about him. Real estate professional with Coldwell Banker Elite in Fredericksburg, specializing in retail and office sales and leasing, land sales, tenant representation. In other words, the people who live within these areas, commercial investments, how to get more investments for these businesses, high-end residential transactions. So for big transactions for different housing areas. With more than 12 years of experience, he has worked with both regional and institutional landlords to implement successful leasing and sales strategy throughout the Fredericksburg market. So I wouldn't be surprised if everybody in this area probably knows this guy.
Yeah.
Sullivan has also contributed in the community through prior service on boards of the Fredericksburg Regional Chamber of Commerce. I think that's something that Jim Bailey might know as well. The city of Fredericksburg in the regional Ducks Unlimited chapter. He holds a bachelor's degree in economics from Virginia Tech and is a proud lifelong resident of downtown Fredericksburg. In addition to his role on the EDA board, Evan Sullivan serves on the FXBG Loan Committee and contributes to the authority's strategic investments initiatives. Through these efforts, he helps evaluate opportunities to provide access to capital for local businesses, support entrepreneurial growth, and guide targeted investments that strengthen Fredericksburg's long-term economic vitality. His expertise in real estate and deep knowledge of the local market brings valuable perspective to these programs, ensuring they align with the city's goals for sustainable growth and community impact. So honestly, all this guy's really going to do is, I think he's just going to be the guy who's going to vet a lot of the investments that are going to come through the area. He's probably going to be in charge of making sure that, for example, that program honestly does well. He's probably going to be checking, is this business or this business, are they really doing us very well? If not, I think he's going to help highlight, I think these companies over here, these businesses, this restaurant, I think they might be struggling. Let's reach out to them. Let's see what's going on. In other words, he might be the guy that could stop an issue before it starts.
Yeah. This is somebody I need to contact. So put that in your notes, manager.
Oh, for sure.
And then finally, we're going to end on a good note. A very good note. An international visit. Exploring Fredericksburg with travel writer Verona Wolf. On Saturday, August 23rd, the EDA, the EDT, the Economic Development and Tourism staff welcomed Verona Wolf, a travel writer from Bavaria, Germany, to Fredericksburg during her recent tour of Virginia. Her trip was coordinated by our friends at the VTC, and who planned a week-long journey showcasing some of the Commonwealth's most historic and inspiring destinations. In her time here, she explored Ferry Farm, which is George Washington's boyhood home along the Rappahannock River, historic Kenmore, a beautiful Gregorian home of his sister, Betty Washington, Mary Washington's house, where George's mother spent her final years, and that's now a museum that you should go check out too. And then the Fredericksburg Masonic Lodge number 4, one of the oldest Masonic lodges in the country with ties to George Washington himself. And they state that it was a pleasure sharing our city's rich history and warm hospitality with her, and they're excited for her writing that will introduce Fredericksburg to readers in Germany and beyond as the USA prepares to celebrate America's 250th anniversary next year. Visits like this help spread the word about Fredericksburg's special place in American history. And the image is her at Masonic Lodge number 4.
I like this. I think this is the kind of stuff that I feel like more people should be highlighted on. I don't know how like the city could start doing this, but it's always good to know that your city is being highlighted somewhere else. Yeah. Like, I don't know. To know
we have multiple sister cities. I don't know if we have one in Germany.
Just Fredericksburg, Texas, right?
No. In other countries.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I wonder if I can look it up. But they have all the names of our sister cities in the visitor center right in front of the bathrooms. And they also have some information inside of City Hall of our sister cities as well. I know you'd think that Fredericksburg, Texas would be part of that. So yeah, one in Nepal, and I actually spoke to a gentleman from here last year where he was an artist. He was going to come from Nepal to here, and we wanted him to go to the JM Multicultural Fair and speak of his art there, but he wasn't able to get his visa in time. Italy, Germany, yep, we have one in Germany, in Ghana, and then in France. So these are our 5 sister cities that you can read more about on the
what are they?
Fredericksburg
what
City.
Makes them? What do they do that have much in common, including proximity to major international cities? Este is 60 miles west of Venice and location on major transportation corridors, rich history and heritage, active high quality and cultural life, nearby wineries. In June, the delegation from Este visited Fredericksburg to explore cultural, artistic, educational, economic potential for exchange and mutual support. You know, stuff like this could be more necessary. Like for example, I was gonna say earlier, like at the other article, little do we know how rich all that stuff is. Mary Washington, like most people, I like to say that the George Washington's monument in D.C. is quite literally the same thing as his mom's monument here in Fredericksburg.
Yeah, that's right.
Lafayette and all the stuff that he had to do with the war. The fact that the Union lost one of their biggest battles here.
Yeah.
It was probably the bloodiest one.
Yeah. And
it's interesting when you actually walk by, you actually get to... me and my girlfriend spent like almost like an hour at the park just literally talking about everything, looking at the signs and whatnot. So like it's actually interesting when you go to like Chatham Manor, just all that kind of stuff. Taking the pictures there, of course, is very nice. And so knowing that stuff like this is in other places, I could see... what are they called? Michaela was talking about it when you can like not au pair, foreign exchange students.
Yeah.
Like we can already do a lot with UMW.
Yeah.
I can imagine if stuff like this send a few people to Nepal, to Italy, to Germany, to France, and why not to our sister cities, especially if you have anything for history majors, for example.
Look, this is outdated. Culture Chair Sue Henderson with the Fredericksburg Arts Commission. And instead, I was, there's some conspiracies about sister cities, which I won't say on camera, to actually end it on a good note, but I will tell you off of camera. That is our news for the week. If you missed everything from Friday, Saturday, Sunday of the previous week, the video is already online. This is from Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So we try to cover all of our bases here every week. Thank you so much for watching or listening or reading the captions. I don't know. Thank you. Have a good night. Bye. Bye.